Hello, everybody. Monday, the 16th of December, for another live lunch and learn. And today, we're going to be talking about how to go from who you are to who you want to be. Now, I call this bridging the gap. I'm going to share with you an excerpt from my professional pointer program today, as of sort of building on a lot of the context of what we've been speaking about in the previous lunch and learns. So if you missed any of them, then go to here we go. If you're on the Pathfinder community, you'll find all the links below, or otherwise you'll see the full breakdown of them there. If you're on YouTube, then follow me on my YouTube channel. And if you're on Facebook, well, follow me on my YouTube channel. But they are on Facebook as well. So if you don't know me, my name's Tim Wagner. I'm a previously burnt out corporate executive, now turned international speaker and professional pointer. You know how, as a professional, you can hit a point in your life where stress becomes overwhelming and so impacting your personal and your business life? Well, I point high-functioning business leaders and teams in a new direction to find purpose and meaning and overcoming stress and anxiety in order to avoid burnout. I believe we can all stress less, live and lead far more productive lives, so becoming more impactful and successful and fulfilled, not only at home, but at work as well. And today, I'm going to break down some of this information that I share with my clients in my full 6-month program. What we're talking about when we speak about who you are is ultimately about purpose, your purpose in life. But I don't know about you, I'm finding that it's rather overrated and even misunderstood. So I want to try and start off by just making it a little bit easy. Your purpose is to be you. That's it. It's as simple as that. Don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. But we do. Why? Well, that's because we've been taught to be somebody else who we're not. So the easiest way to be you, through all the pains, the struggles, the strife, the issues, is by being not who you've programmed to be by preachers, teachers, parents. That sounds easy. No, it's not easy. But it's simple to be you. When you start to go with the flow, when you're operating inside your core genius of who you are, life becomes effortless. This is when you have joy. You are creative. And everything that you do around you becomes far more fulfilling. And also, you're feeling far more sensations of love and being accepted. This is because this is built on your inner guidance system. It's about you being in control of your design of life. I've coined the phrase, design your life, no longer leave it to default. Default is this programmed state that we carry around. It's about designing, but letting go at the same time, sort of going with the flow if you want. And a whole lot of my program from the professional pointer program is built around knowing who you are and going with the flow to ultimately become this who you want to be. You can't erase your past, all the issues and traumas and anxieties that has designed or created the personality that you have right now. You are who you are because of all of that. So it's about embracing all of the hard work and the strife and the stresses of life and not ignoring and disconnecting it. For when you recognize that being in alignment is a great place to be, this is when you have all these possibilities that fall into place. But it's so easy to get lost in our journey, isn't it? When I was 19, I went into hospitality as I figured it was a great way to work and travel the world, a universal language. And I did that successfully for many years. At 25, it became an industry for me to build my career on. I got married, and then what comes after marriage? All the bills, right? And I climbed the ladder in my career, built a very successful career over 15 years. I was very good at it. But at the age of 40, it became about the money. I had my own business on the side of my full-time job and my career that I had built. But finance become my driving why factor. Why was I doing it? I wanted a bigger house. I wanted better holidays, a new car. I wanted the lifestyle that I believed my family deserved. And so it became about the money. I didn't want the title anymore. And it was that nearly killed me. You see, I remember very clearly that chilly autumn night in 2018 when I looked at the desk I was sitting behind and only saw problems. And I looked at my life and saw it was not going the way that I wanted it to be, but I had no idea anymore what I wanted. The business I'd been running for 7 years started to have problems because I couldn't see the solutions anymore. My health was in tatters. My relationship with my son and with my wife was a mess. But what had changed? Had the industry of hospitality changed? No, it's seasonal. There's still economic problems and employee problems and customer problems. Or had I changed? You see, who I had become as a result of chasing the money was not aligned to my purpose in life, was not aligned to who I am intrinsically, but I was lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing anymore, aside from money. And finance was not my driving factor. I love money. I love what money gives me. I love the lifestyle, the freedom that it gives me, but I was lost because I was not operating in a space of designing my life. I was running by complete default. It's a great quote here by Jim Rohn. Success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person who you become. He also says happiness is not obtained in what you get, but who you become. So, as it turns out, this whole idea of knowing your personality, of who you are, is quite well spoken. But I didn't really understand it until I broke it down in detail to create a framework for me. Because that's what I love doing is how can I take this information that I'm learning and put it into a structure? And that's what I'm sharing with you. If we know the goals and dreams of how to get there, everybody would do it. So if you know who you want to be down the line or what your purpose is, wouldn't you be there already? There's a lot of information that we stumbled across out there in the big wide world of how to achieve goals and dreams. It's December now in 2024. And in January 25 is the time people create New Year's resolutions. But here's the challenge. How many people actually achieve it? How many people, how many of you listening to this have achieved your dreams and goals? So I've developed this plan. It's called Bridging the Gap. You are here now. Let me make this bigger for you. Who you are now. Once you understand this who clearly, and I've said before, outside what the program state of preachers, teachers, and parents, or who you've been told you are, but knowing who you are. You can then say, right, now I know who I am in the foundation. Who will I become in 2 years, 5 years' time? Who am I then from a positive base? Your skills, your knowledge, your past, your business, your job will get you so far in this journey. But between what you already know and what you need to know or will know or must know or have to know in order to become this person you want to be, there's a gap. Now, I call this Bridging the Gap. It's an acronym for Goal Achievement Plan. You see, once you understand who you are and who you'll become, this is akin to a GPS. I live in Cape Town. I want to go to Durban on holiday. When our GPS says to me, you are here, where do you want to go? Durban. It creates a journey, a route, a map. Now, imagine opening up the GPS and saying, well, I want to go to Durban. I don't know where I am. The GPS says, where are you? Say, I don't know. It's the same thing as if you do not know who you are, you're never going to get who you want to be. And you don't have that journey, that roadmap. So this is where the goal activation comes in. Now there's going to be a lack of skills, knowledge, and mindset. that all need to be identified and worked on. Skills gap is the ability to perform the tasks and activities competently to get you there. You're going to need to identify these skills gaps. If you had the skill already, you'd be who you want to be already. Then there's knowledge gaps, information and understanding gained through education and studies. You need to pinpoint the areas that you need to grow in your knowledge. Then your mindset, recognizing the mental barriers and attitudes that could be holding you back from being this who. Personal and business growth requires a different mindset, a different way of thinking. Now, you're all going to get access to this goal activation plan, as I'm going to share the link directly after here in a PDF that you can scan with a QR code shortly. So when you're understanding the areas of focus in your life, there's actually 7 of them. Step 1 is to identify 1 or 2 of these to start with. Now, ultimately, you'll go through all 7 of those that are listed up on the screen over there. So in the beginning, I'm going to use the example of the physical one. This is the bridging the gap. Now, when I first put this together many years ago, I wanted to try and identify some areas of my life to improve on. So step 2 is to identify who you are now and write that in. Now, who you are, and there's a whole sheet that I'm going to share with you that'll explain it in detail. Now, who you are, I did from a fitness perspective. I had a fitness goal. So I would then write there, I'm overweight, or I am unfit. I can run 5 kilometers and no more. So you write there who you are now. Then you're going to write who you'll become in the far right-hand column over there. Not a goal, but a who. So a goal may be 10 kilos lighter, or I want to be fitter. But a who would become a name, an identity that you can role model against, someone you aspire to be like, that you can research and find out how did they get to who they are now, if that's the person that you aspire to be. Step 4 is to complete the gap in the middle. This would be what I've spoken about already, the skills, the mindset, the knowledge of what's needed to go from who you are to who you want to be. So my example was physical. Last year my goal was to be a triathlete. So where am I now? Unfit. I can walk, I can run, I can swim, I can cycle, but not very far. So who am I now? I'm unfit. Who would I like to be? Who will I be at the end of achieving my goals? A triathlete. Now I could pick a name, but just the identity of a triathlete helps with that, because now I can start to fill the gap. What is the gap? How does a triathlete think? What does a triathlete do? In other words, their training program, easy enough to research. What does a triathlete know about their body, their swimming skills, their cycling abilities? How does a triathlete speak? What language do they use? Where does a triathlete hang out online? What's a triathlete's training plan? See, all of these things is easy to mirror myself against a physical identity to fill out that gap. Now, why does this work so well? You see, when you're using an example of somebody, my example of a triathlete, it was easier for me to benchmark myself against, as opposed to saying a person who's fit, or somebody who's stronger, or somebody who can run 20 kilometers. Because the hurdle that you have is to overcome all those limitations that you will experience during your journey of becoming this who. I remember clearly, it was winter and I'd be lying in bed. It's cold outside. It was raining. It was windy. Oh man, I'm staying underneath my duvet because that is not a place I want to go. But I had a goal to become a triathlete. So instead of turning over and falling back asleep for another half an hour, I asked myself the question, what would a triathlete do? And of course, the answer was get up and train anyway. So that's what I did. So now I can start to ask myself questions. I feel like eating this today. What would a triathlete in training eat? Maybe carrot cake is not the answer, but carrots is. It's easy enough to Google and research these things. Now, that's a QR code. Scan that. The QR code is going to take you to my Bridging the Gap PDF worksheet that I'm sharing with you. Download it. Have a look right now in December 2024 at who you want to be in December 2025. Find a person to emulate and get there. Now, when you download that, you'll also have access to my calendar. Book a slot with me. I can take you through some of the Bridging the Gap exercises. No obligation, just have a chat. You've heard a little bit from me. I'd like to find out a little about you. To round this off, Jack Canfield said, it's not the results that's important, it's who you become in the process of achieving the results. So who will you become by December 25? Will be a direct result of your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And isn't it about time you started to live your life by design and no longer leave it by default, so that 25 can be the year you thrive and don't merely survive? I'll see you soon. If you're part of my Pathfinders community, I look forward to connecting you in the chats. Have a great year.